Claire is calling. Claire, what part of Scotland are you calling from?
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, right up in the Highlands. Welcome. Or near the Highlands, I should say. How are you, Claire? I know you're not the Highlands, I know. I knew not to.
Yeah, well, no, it's not that far. I'm actually in the city.
Ah, the granite city. Claire,
the silver city.
Right, Gaza, you wanted to talk about that chestnut.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't really call it a chestnut, would you? I'd probably call it the most barbaric act I've ever seen in my 43 years, if I'm honest. I've been absolutely dumbfounded and shocked by the level of aggression, that kind of barbarianism showed by the Israelis. And you just called what happened on October the 7th, a pogrom.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard people call what the Israelis are doing a genocide and a Holocaust. And I wouldn't say what they're doing is that far removed from that, to be fair. Seriously.
Putin has sent 300,000 of his soldiers to their deaths in Russia, and it's not being reported. Ukraine has lost 50,000 of its men. It's a smaller country, and it might be staring defeat in the face. And you're saying that what happened on October the 7th has some kind of moral equivalence with Israel defending itself.
No. Can we stop bringing Russia and Ukraine into it?
OK, let's put that to one side. I just want to put things into perspective. You're talking about barbarism. Talk about what Putin's doing to his own people.
This is your barbarism, and you're basically...
What, you mean mine?
Look, well, everybody in talkTV media, if I'm honest. However, if you just let me speak... Right, what you're comparing is two completely different regions for a start. And one thing we keep getting with Israel is, look over there, look over there, look over there. Well, actually, no, I'm looking at you. Right? Seriously. I think, in my view, what Hamas did on October the 7th, they occupied a venue in Israel for a few hours. What Israel have done for the last 70 years is military occupation of their land. And yes, Johnny, I'm realising...
That is really sickening, actually. That's a sickening comment. They hang-glided into Israel, which is a sovereign nation, and they bust through a wall and a wire and killed innocent 20-something people. 3,000 enemy combatants went in and slayed innocent civilians going about their Saturday morning.
They are only enemies of Israel. And you sit there every morning and talk about the death of these Palestinian children. And those pictures that are coming out on Al Jazeera are absolutely
You're being
horrifying.
Completely manipulated by Palestinian media.
No, I am not being manipulated.
War is terrible. I don't like to see it either. I don't like to see it either.
You do. You lot have been foaming at the mouth.
You lot. What does you lot mean?
talkTV.
Right.
You are foaming at the mouth every single time another little child gets killed in
I would say we are. I would say we are a voice of common sense amid a terrible noise from Al Jazeera, the BBC, which is a malign influence on the country, and Sky and the various other things. And I think if talkTV didn't exist, we would be overridden.
The rest of the world turned its back on you. Why is everybody in the world turning its back on Israel? Why is everybody in the world? The only two countries backing them is England, which is a despot nation for a start, and the US.
But you're English, aren't you?
The rest of the world. Yes, I am.
Aren't
English.
you proud to be English?
Oh, my hell, when I see what's going on in Israel and I know my...
But hang on, Lord Cameron is talking your kind of language.
No, he is not. He is not talking my kind of language.
He is talking about the humanitarian issue in Gaza and for Israel to stop things.
Oh,
He's saying exactly what you're saying. You should be delighted about Cameron.
Before we bomb them. Give them a meal before we bomb them. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think the only way this is going to stop is when influential countries like mine and like the US tell Israel to knock it off.
Because there'll be another pogrom. If they, anyone who supports a ceasefire supports Hamas's ability to do what they did again.
You have beat them hands down with a genocide.
Genocide is such a slur. It's such a terrible inversion of the truth.
About Russia, going back to them. I've heard you lot use those things. And, oh, look at these, they're doing it, why can't we? Do you realise how infantile a lot of this is?
It's got nothing. Those wars are separate. I'm just talking about the numbers of deaths.
You talk about it like it's a street fight. No,
it's not a street fight. There's no moral equivalence between Israel and the Palestinians. You might hear that across other people on this channel, but never from me.
If Israel didn't want this so-called pogrom that you keep overinflating it with...
Okay, if you don't like the word pogrom, what was October the 7th? What was October the 7th? What would you call it?
I think it was a terrorist attack.
It was a terrorist attack. It was a genuine genocide. Yeah. That was a proper genocide because the Hamas Charter says they want to destroy the state of Israel and by extension every Jew in the world. That is a genocide.
Do you think people can't see that? The language you use, right? If it's a genocide, then the Palestinians are beating you hands down because they have lost so many people, and basically Israel's going to keep going. So every one of those people is dead.
They're not interested in that. You know it. They're not interested in Gaza. Gaza's for the Arabs. Okay, Gaza's for the Muslim Arabs. And by the way, it used to be for the Christian Arabs before the Hamas started getting rid of them.
For decades. Why have they been occupying Gaza for decades?
They haven't. They withdrew in 2005 unilaterally, duh. They're out of the country. And by the way, Hamas, by the way, won an election there and then killed all the Palestinian Authority fighters in a brutal regime change.
Shut up.
Shut up. Get rid of her. Come on, she's had her free speech.